I never thought I'd torch my own career to watch it burn someone else's brighter. But there I was, in the sterile glow of my corner office at Apex Innovations, staring down the barrel of a betrayal so sharp it could carve out your soul. The email from HR hit like a sucker punch. Termination effective immediately for ethical violations in the Scary Art project. Ethical violations? That was code for "you're the fall guy," and I knew exactly who'd loaded the gun: my mentor, my boss, the Golden Boy CEO, Ethan Hale. It started 6 months earlier, in the humid haze of a Manhattan summer, when Ethan pitched the Scary Art box at our quarterly retreat in the Hamptons. Picture this: a bunch of tech bros in linen shirts, sipping rose on a deck overlooking the Atlantic, while Ethan, tall, chiseled jaw, that perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that screamed, "Trust Fund Rebel," unveils his baby. The Scary Art box wasn't just an AI art generator, it was a black market Pandora's box, trained on scraped data from underground artists' portfolios without a whisper of consent. "It's disruptive," he said, eyes gleaming like a shark spotting chum. "It'll make us the next Mid-Journey, but edgier, darker. Real American grit." I was COO. Victoria Reyes, the Latina powerhouse who'd clawed her way from a Bronx public school to Wharton, then straight into the C-suite at 32. Ethan called me his secret weapon, the one who made his wild ideas palatable to investors. We were tight late nights at the office, takeout Thai from that hole in the wall on 3rd Avenue, him venting about his ex-wife's alimony demands while I nursed my own ghosts from a childhood where my single mom juggled 3 jobs to keep the lights on. I trusted him. Hell, I loved him. In that messy, unspoken way colleagues do when the lines blur after too many whiskeys. But trust is a luxury in big tech, and Ethan's had an expiration date. The box launched to fanfare, viral TikToks of users generating nightmarish portraits that looked like your nightmares had a PhD in Photoshop. Sales spiked, $2 million in the first quarter. Critics called it creepy genius, a nod to the American underbelly of innovation over ethics. I handled the PR spin, schmoozing VCs at rooftop parties in Soho, assuring them it was all above board. Licensed data only, I'd say, flashing my megawatt smile, the one that hid the knot in my gut. The knot tightened when the first lawsuit dropped. An indie artist from Brooklyn, Mia Vasquez, claimed the box had regurgitated her signature style, those swirling, haunted faces she'd poured her trauma into after losing her brother to police brutality. "It's theft," she told The Verge, her voice cracking over Zoom. "They fed my pain to their machine and called it progress." Ethan's response? A scoff in our next exec meeting. "Litigation's the cost of doing business. Bury it. Bury it." Like it was yesterday's news, not a woman's life. I pushed back, quietly at first. Late one night, I dug into the training logs, lines of code that screamed proprietary theft. Ethan had greenlit the scrape, overriding my compliance team's red flags. "Vic, you're thinking small," he'd said, clapping my shoulder a little too hard. "This is how we win. America doesn't reward the timid." I swallowed it, because what choice did I have? My stock options were vesting, my name on the masthead. But Mia's suit snowballed, class action from a dozen creators, whispers of FTC scrutiny. Then came the board call, Ethan's voice smooth as silk over the line. "Vic, I need you to take the hit on this. Sign the affidavit, say you approved the data protocols." My blood ran cold. "Ethan, that's perjury." "We both know. It's temporary," he cut in, that mentor tone laced with steel. "I'll pull strings, get you a golden parachute. Think of it as loyalty. Loyalty. The word tasted like ash. I paced my apartment in Chelsea, the city humming below like a distant accusation, my mom's old rosary beads twisting in my fingers. Sign. And I'd be complicit. Refuse. And he'd paint me as the ambitious upstart gunning for his throne. I signed. God help me. I signed. The affidavit flew to legal. And for a week, silence. Then the hammer, Ethan's mock email to the team, leaked to TechCrunch. COO Reyes pushed the envelope too far on scary art, reckless innovation gone rogue. Reckless? That was my line. The one I'd fed to reporters to hype the launch. He twisted it into my noose. By morning, my inbox was a war zone. Resignation demands from investors. Death threats from trolls who dubbed me Vulture Vic. I was radioactive. Fired that afternoon. Escorted out by security like a common thief. My boxed-up life, framed MBA, that signed photo of Obama, stacked in the lobby under fluorescent buzz. Ethan didn't even say goodbye, just a text. Sorry. Vic. Business. Business. As if my 20 years of grinding weren't personal. As if the American dream he'd sold me wasn't built on my back. That night, in a dive bar off Houston Street, nursing a Jameson that burned less than the rage, I made the call. Not to a lawyer, too slow, too clean. To my old contact, from the Bronx, Rico, the hacker who'd once fixed my mom's identity theft nightmare for a six-pack and a favor. Dig, I told him, voice steady for the first time that day. Everything on Ethan Hale. And that box. Rico chuckled, low and knowing. You sure?
Mia.
This ain't checkers. Chess, I replied. And I'm flipping the board. The dig took weeks. A shadow war in the underbelly of New York. Rico's feeds lit up my burner phone. Ethan's offshore accounts siphoning box profits to a Cayman shell. Payoffs to silenced artists, not just Mia, but a dozen more. Their NDAs ironclad. Deeper, the real poison. 2 years back, during a company offsite in Vegas, Ethan had cornered a junior dev, Sarah Klein, in her hotel room. Assault. She reported it internally. I was looped in as COO. But Ethan swore me to secrecy. Family, he said. Tears in his eyes, a performance worthy of an Oscar. Handle it quiet.
Vic.
For the team. I did. Paid her off. Buried the file. Told myself it was protecting the company. Protecting him. My mistake. My crime. Now it stared back from Rico's dossier. Sarah's redacted police report. Ethan's DNA traces scrubbed but not forgotten. He'd framed me for the box to distract from this? No, the box was the smokescreen. The ethics scandal a diversion while he lawyered up against Sarah's renewed push. She'd gone public anonymously on Reddit. And the dots connected. My termination time to bury her story under mine. Rage crystallized into plan. Step 1. Leak the data scrape logs to Mia's lawyers. Anonymous drop. Routed through Tor. By week's end, the class action ballooned to $10 million. Headlines screaming, Apex's AI heist. Ethan's stock dipped 15%. Bored whispers turning to shouts. He fought back. Of course, memos blaming rogue elements, my name in fine print. But I was a ghost now, crashing on Rico's couch in Bushwick, plotting from the dark. Step 2. The personal gut punch. I hacked his calendar, Rico's magic, and slipped into his penthouse gala at the Met, disguised as catering staff. There he was, toasting investors with vintage scotch. Sarah's ghost nowhere in sight. I cornered him in the coat room, heels clicking like judgment.
Ethan.
He froze. Champagne flute midway.
Vic.
What the? Get out before I call security.
Call them.
Tell them how you buried Sarah Klein. How you made me your shield. His face cycled. Shock. Denial. That oily charm. You're unhinged. This is harassment. I slid the USB across the marble counter. Sarah's full report. Timestamps matching his Vegas alibi lies. Leak this, and your empire crumbles. Or confess. And maybe, just maybe, I let the box slide. He laughed.
Bitter.
You think you're the Avenger? You're as dirty as me.
Vic.
You signed off on everything.
True.
And that truth clawed at me. A mirror to my own complicity. He didn't confess. Instead, he countersniped, anonymous tip to the feds, painting me as the mastermind behind the data theft. Raids on my old apartment, subpoenas piling like snow in January. I went deeper underground. Rico's network my lifeline, coders from Queens, activists from Brooklyn, all nursing their own apex scars. We built the kill shot, a whistleblower site, unboxtruth.com, dripping Ethan's sins in real time. Lawsuits, assaults. The box's Frankenstein code exposed line by line. The board panicked. Auditors swarming. Ethan clawed for control, firing half the exec team in a bloodbath email blast. But the tide turned when Sarah surfaced, live on CNN from a safe house in Jersey. Victoria Reyes didn't silence me, she said, eyes fierce. She tried to help. It was hail. The internet erupted, hail down trending. Protests outside Apex HQ with signs. Art isn't free. Women aren't silent. I watched from a diner in Red Hook. Coffee going cold. Heart pounding. Victory? Or just the prelude? Ethan's lawyers circled, offering settlements. But I held fire. The real hook was the penalty. FTC probe unearthed the box's violations, unfair trade practices, consumer deception. $750,000 fine. Pocket change to Apex. But the kicker, personal liability pinned on Ethan for willful misconduct. His shares tanked. Divorce lawyers circling like vultures. Crescendo hit at the shareholder meeting in Midtown. Glass tower gleaming under relentless sun. I slipped in as media, badge forged by Rico's wizardry. Ethan at the podium. Sweat beading. Spinning yarns of lessons learned. I stood, mic in hand, unscripted.
Raw.
Mr. Hale, care to explain why your COO took the fall for your assaults and your AI Frankenstein? Gasps rippled. Camera's word. He locked eyes with me. Venom pure. Security, but too late, the feed went viral. Sarah's testimony cued on every screen via our hack. Chaos, shouts. Feds in suits bursting through doors. Ethan dragged off stage in cuffs.
Me?
I melted into the crowd. Pulse thundering. A ghost avenged. But as sirens wailed down Fifth Avenue, doubt crept in. I'd exposed him. Yes, but at what cost? Sarah free. Artists compensated. Yet my name forever tainted. Blacklisted from Silicon Alley. And the twist. The one that keeps me up nights. In the USB I'd given Ethan. Rico slipped a decoy file. The real report? It named me too, co-signer on the Vegas cover-up. My signature sealing Sarah's silence. If it ever leaked, I'd fall with him. Was it justice? Or just trading one grave for another? In America, revenge isn't a straight line. It's a funhouse mirror, reflecting your own monsters back at you. I won the war, but the peace? That's the real controversy. Who's the villain when everyone's hands are dirty? The fallout from that shareholder showdown was a media circus on steroids. The kind that turns New York into a pressure cooker where everyone's screaming and no one's listening. I holed up in a no-tell motel on the edge of Queens. The kind with roaches that skitter like secrets and neon signs flickering vacancy, like a bad omen. My phone, burner number 3, buzzed nonstop. Reporters from Wired, activists from the ACLU, even my mom, voice trembling over a staticky line from the Bronx.
Mia.
What have you done? The news says you're a hero. Or a criminal. I didn't answer. Heroes don't sleep with one eye open, wondering if the knock at the door is salvation or a SWAT team. Ethan's arrest made front-page fodder. Tech Titan cuffed for assault cover-up. The $750,000 FTC penalty was the cherry on top. But it was Sarah's CNN spot that gutted him, her recounting the Vegas night in clipped, unflinching detail. The offsite's free-flowing tequila masking his entitlement. He said it was team building, she told Anderson Cooper, tears carving tracks down her makeup-free face. I said no. He laughed. Views hit 50 million overnight. Me Too 2.0 crashing Apex's servers with doxing demands. But victory's a fickle bitch. While the world toasted my bravery, the feds zeroed in on me. That anonymous tip Ethan planted? It bloomed into a full DOJ probe. Wire fraud. Obstruction of justice. My affidavit from the box, scandal dissected like a frog in bio class. MS. Reyes, the agent said over a sterile conference call. His voice all East Coast flatline. You want to play whistleblower? Start with your own ledger. My ledger.
Yeah.
That Vegas file, my co-signature. A desperate bid to keep the peace. Now a noose tightening. Rico pulled strings. Got me a shark lawyer from Harlem named Lena Torres. The type who chews up prosecutors for breakfast and spits out plea deals. We met in a taqueria off Jamaica Avenue. Steam from carnitas fogging the windows. Her eyes sharp as switchblades. You got dirt on Hale, Vic. But he buried his deeper. That USB decoy? Smart, but sloppy. Feds found traces. Traces. Meaning my real complicity was one subpoena away from daylight. Lena leaned in, salsa dripping from her chip. We flip it, trade your testimony for immunity. But it'll cost you. Publicly. Publicly. The word hung like exhaust in rush hour. I'd gone rogue to avenge my betrayal.
But now?
Testify. And I drag Sarah's healing through the mud again. Force her to relive cross-exams in a courtroom that reeked of old money and older biases. Refuse. And I'd rot in Rikers. Another Latina statistic in the system. Choices in America aren't forks in the road. They're razor wire. Slicing no matter which way you lean. I chose the wire. Not the snitch kind metaphorical. Rico's handiwork. We traced Ethan's panic moves, frantic calls to a fixer in D.C., wiring hush money to a senator's PAC tied to Apex lobbying. The senator? Harlan Brooks. Old-school GOP from Texas. The guy who greased bills for big tech tax breaks while preaching personal responsibility on Fox. Ethan's lifeline. Now my lever. Expose Brooks. Rico grinned over encrypted chat. And Hale drowned solo. The op was pure Bushwick ingenuity. Deepfake audio. Ethan's voice spliced with Brooks from C-SPAN clips. A fabricated quid pro quo on assault cover-ups in exchange for deregulation. We didn't fabricate crimes, just amplified the plausible. Dropped it to ProPublica via a ghost account. Boom. Headlines shifted from tech scandal to corruption web, FBI vans circling Capitol Hill. Brooks lawyered up, denying everything. But the stink stuck, his polls tanked in the midterms. Donors fleeing like rats from a dumpster fire. Ethan, from his holding cell in Lower Manhattan, raged via smuggled notes Rico intercepted. "You bitch," one read, ink smudged like tears. "This ends us both."
Us.
As if we were ever a team. Not him using my ambition like a ladder to climb over the bodies. But he was right about the end, mine included. Lena's deal came through. Immunity for full disclosure. But with a gag on Sarah's details. "Protect the victim," she said. I nodded, stomach churning. Protection? Or just another Barry? Boardroom testimony was a circus. Me in a pantsuit that felt like armor, facing suits who'd once clapped for my TED Talk on ethical disruption. Ethan's empty chair loomed like a guillotine. MS. Reyes, the lead counsel, droned. A wasp with a Rolex that screamed daddy's firm. "You admit to falsifying documents?" I met his gaze. Channel that Bronx steel my mom instilled over kitchen table pep talks. Admit? I confess. But Hale orchestrated. He assaulted Sarah Klein, coerced the cover-up, then framed me for the scary art box to dodge accountability. Murmurs rippled, cameras flashed outside the glass walls. The box itself became exhibit, a demo on a projector, generating a portrait of Ethan, his face twisted into a demonic leer, eyes hollow as a soul. "This is what he built," I said, voice steady. "Beauty from theft, power from pain. And I enabled it." Gasps. Not for the art, but the admission. Controversy brewed. Who was I to judge? Complicit queen crowning the king?
Post-testimony.
The world split. Feminists hailed me as a reckoning. MAGA trolls branded me a woke witch hunt enabler. Sarah reached out via Lena, a tentative email. Words fragile as rice paper. "Thank you, Victoria." But why'd it take so long?
Why?
Because fear's a hell of a drug. And Ethan's charm was the needle. I replied honestly, cowardice.
Mine.
Won't happen again. But it did. In shadows. Rico uncovered the twist, the one that'd haunt op-eds for months. In Ethan's panic dump, he'd leaked my full file to a dark web forum. Not the decoy. The real deal, my emails greenlighting the box's riskiest scrapes. My signature on Sarah's NDA with a postscript, "For the greater good, v. Greater good." Code for "Save my spot at the table." The forum exploded. Whistleblower or wolf? Threads debated my motives, revenge porn for the betrayed. Or calculated climb. Feds paused my immunity. Reviewing inconsistencies. Lena cursed in Spanish, pacing her office overlooking the East River. "You held back, Vic." That postscript? It paints you as co-conspirator. I had. Omission. The coward's crime.
Now.
With Ethan pleading out 5 years. $750,000 restitution. The spotlight swung to me. Subpoena for perjury. Headlines flipping. Avenger or accomplice? I ran again. Not far. Rico's safe house in the Adirondacks. Cabin smelling of pine and paranoia. Winter crept in. Snow blanketing the lake like forgotten sins. Mom visited once. Bundled in her old pea coat.
Forcing tamales on me.
Enough fighting ghosts. Victoria. Come home. Home. The Bronx. Where dreams die quiet. Not in flames. But I couldn't. The fire I'd lit burned too hot, consuming Ethan. Brooks. Apex's board in resignations and sell-offs. The box? Shut down. Code open-sourced as penance. Artists reclaiming their styles in a flood of indie apps. Yet as spring thawed the ice, the real penalty hit: Sarah's lawsuit against me. Not criminal, civil. For emotional distress in the cover-up. You knew, her lawyer's letter read. Clinical as a scalpel. Your delay prolonged my silence. True. Undeniable. Court date loomed in federal district. Me versus the woman I'd freed. Irony thick as fog off the Hudson. Deposition day. I faced her across a table scarred by 1,000 truths. Sarah. Older now. Lines etched deeper. But eyes clear. Why? Vic. No cameras. Just us. The stenographer's keys clicking like a heartbeat. Power, I whispered.
His. Mine.
The illusion we could control the chaos. She nodded.
Slow.
And now, I pay. Settlement. $200,000. My savings gutted. But her words lingered. Forgive yourself. Or don't. But stop running. Ethan's sentencing was televised. Him in orange jumpsuit. Shackled. That chiseled jaw slack. I take responsibility, he monotoned, eyes scanning for me in the gallery. I wasn't there. Too busy dismantling my own throne, donating box proceeds to artist funds, testifying for AI ethics bills in Albany. But the controversy festered. Was my revenge catharsis or catastrophe? Forums raged. Some saw a phoenix rising from corporate ashes. Others a snake shedding skin to strike again. The twist dropped like a grenade. Leaked emails proving I'd tipped Ethan to Sarah's initial report, buying time for his fix. Not full betrayal, but delay, enough to question my savior shtick. Public split wider. Vic the victim versus Vic the villain. Late-night pods dissecting my hustle as quintessentially American, ambition's blade cutting both ways. I stood at the cabin's window, lake mirroring a stormy sky, weighing the scales. Justice? A myth in a country built on stolen land and silenced voices. But retribution? That I owned. Scars and all. The phone rang. Lena. New offer. Advisory role at a startup. Ethics lead. Clean slate.
Clean.
As if. Tell them yes, I said. But on my terms. America doesn't do tidy endings, it does sequels. And mine? Just beginning. Summer hit the Adirondacks like a fever dream, humidity clinging to everything, turning the cabin into a sweatbox of regrets and what-ifs. I'd taken Lena's gig, ethics officer at NovaForge. A scrappy Brooklyn AI collective more commune than corporation, the kind where coders brew kombucha and debate Kant over vegan tacos. It was penance wrapped in opportunity, a chance to rebuild without the boardroom vultures circling. But ghosts don't evaporate with a fresh LinkedIn bio, they hitch rides, whispering doubts in the quiet hours. My first week, I audited their GenArt prototype, a benign beast compared to the scary box. Trained on public domain sketches with opt-in artist credits. No shadows here. Vic, the founder, Jamal, assured me over cold brews on their rooftop, skyline jagged against a bruised sunset. Jamal was Harlem-born, dreads tied back, the type who'd coded his way out of foster care. We build bridges, not walls. Bridges. I nodded, forcing a smile. But inside, walls cracked. Ethan's voice echoing. Thinking small again? Small felt safe. until the subpoena from Sarah's suit landed like a brick through the window. Civil. Yeah. But the depositions dredged it all up. Vegas transcripts read aloud in a fluorescent-lit conference room. My voice from 2 years back. Tinny over speakers. Sarah, this stays internal. For your career. For her career. Bullshit. For Ethan's throne. My promotion dangling like bait. Sarah's lawyer. A firebrand from the Bronx Defenders, irony noted, grilled me. You profited. Tennis. Reyes. Bonus that quarter? Tied to the offsite's success. Success. The word curdled. I cracked. Just a hair. Admitting the delay was strategy, stalling for HR leverage. Not outright sabotage. But the jury of public opinion? They'd feasted on the leaks. My postscript NDA now meme fodder. Greater good Vic with devil horns photoshopped over my TED headshot. NovaForge's team rallied. Petitions. Op-eds in the route. But whispers seeped in. Can we trust her?
Trust.
The currency I'd bankrupted. Meanwhile, Ethan's appeal dragged like a bad hangover. His legal team spinning yarns of mutual complicity in court filings. Clipped to mine. Affidavits from ex-Apex staff, painting me as the iron-fisted COO who'd fostered a toxic culture.
Lies.
Mostly embellished gripes from performance reviews I'd signed off on. But one stung. From Mia Vesquez, the artist whose suit ignited the box blaze. Reyes dismissed my warnings, her statement read. Called it creative friction. Friction. My word. Thrown back like a Molotov. I drove to Brooklyn that night. Rain-slicked streets mirroring my blur. Pulling up to Mia's studio in Bed-Stuy, a converted brownstone pulsing with graffiti murals and the hum of printers. She answered the door in paint-splattered overalls. Eyes wary, but not cold.
Victoria.
Balls a drop-in. We talked on her fire escape. City cacophony below. Sharing a joint that tasted like truce. I didn't dismiss, I said. Smoke curling. I deflected. Ethan's orders. She exhaled slow. And now, you sue back. Or what? Settle. Always settle. She laughed.
Sharp.
That's the game. But artists don't forget. Her forgiveness? Not given. But glimpsed, a collab invite for NovaForge's next drop. Her style woven ethically into code. Small win. But wins stack like Jenga. Precarious. Back at the cabin weekends, I pored over Rico's final dossier. Ethan's prison letters. Smuggled out via a guard's side hustle. One to me. Scrawled furious. You think you won? Check the fine print, your immunity's got holes. Holes. Meaning what?
I dug.
Rico's tools humming on a laptop borrowed from Jamal. Twist within a twist, the $750,000 penalty. Not just Ethan's, it was joint. My name buried in the FTC settlement as co-officer. Apex had appealed quietly, arguing shared liability. And, with my leaks, the feds reopened allocation. $375,000 from me. Source from.
What?
My settlement to Sarah would wipe me clean, leaving debt's shadow. Leverage, Ethan wrote. You expose me, I expose us. Panic clawed, nights pacing the dock. Lake black as ink. Loons calling like accusations. Call Lena? She'd lawyer it. But delay meant interest accruing. NovaForge's faith eroding. Instead, I went rogue again, smaller scale. Personal. Tracked Ethan's sister. The one who'd inherited his charm without the fangs. Now running a boutique PR firm in the village. Coffee at a spot on Bleecker. her across the table in Lululemon, eyes wide.
Vic, God.
The headlines. Help me, I said flat.
Talk him down.
Drop the joint liability push. She hesitated, stirring her latte, froth swirling like secrets. He's broken. You know. Prison shrinks him.
Broken.
As if that erased Sarah's fractures. But she agreed, a call to his team, pulling strings I'd never touch. By week's end, the appeal withdrew. My half of the fine dissolved in legalese smoke. Gratitude?
Nah.
Just another debt. This one to a hail. Sarah's trial loomed, but we mediated, her in a sunlit loft, me virtual from the cabin, Lena bridging. Half the settlement, she proposed. Voice steady. $100,000. And a public apology. Apology. The word stuck like gum on my shoe. I drafted it that night. Fingers flying. I failed you.
Sarah.
Not by action alone, but inaction, the silence of ambition. I'm sorry. Posted to LinkedIn. It went viral, praise from allies, shade from skeptics. Too little. Too late. Nova Forge thrived on the buzz. Their app launching to acclaim. Ethical AI. Reyes reformed. Interviews piled. Pods save America. Wanting my redemption arc. I demurred. But Jamal pushed. Own it.
Beak.
America's addicted to comebacks.
Comeback.
Like Rocky. But with NDAs instead of punches. I did one. On a rooftop stage in Dumbo. Skyline fireworks popping behind. Betrayals bipartisan, I told the crowd. Mike's hot. Left sells ethics. Right sells freedom, both pedal power. I bought in.
Now?
I audit. Applause thundered. But backstage. Doubt gnawed. Rico called. Voice edged. Hails out on appeal bond. Word is. He's gunning. Gunning. For what, me? The city? I beefed security. Paranoia prickling. Fall deepened. Leaves turning blood red. Mirroring the divide. Supporters mailing fan art, ironic. Haters slashing tires on my leased Prius. The real storm hit at a gala for the Artist Rights Fund, Mia's event. Black tie in a Soho warehouse. Walls alive with projections of reclaimed box gens.
Y arrived solo.
Dress hugging like second skin. Head high. Ethan was there. Bond fresh. Suit rumpled. Eyes wild. Vic, he slurred. Champagne breath hot. We match. Security hovered. But I waved them off. What now?
Ethan?
Round 2. He leaned in. Whisper venom. Your apology.
Q.
But Sarah knows. The delay was your call. I just followed. Liar. Or half-truth. Memory blurred, Vegas haze. My emails frantic. We argued low. Crowd oblivious. Until Mia intervened, arm linking mine. Out, she hissed at him.
He went.
But not before dropping the bomb. Check your bank. My sister's gift? Wired from my accounts. Obstruction. Obstruction. Meaning my favor looped me back in, accessory after the fact. I fled to the bathroom. Porcelain cool under palms. Retching up the night's hors d'oeuvres. Gift?
Bribe.
The scales tipped again, his sister. Unwitting pawn. Now my chain. Call the feds? Expose the loop? Risk Nova Forge. Mia's trust? Or bury? Let karmas will turn slow? Chose wrong. As always, silence. But Rico, ever the shadow, Traced it funds clean. No trail. He's bluffing, he said. Scare tactic. Bluff or not. It fractured me. Back at the cabin. Snow dusting early. I journaled by firelight. Revenge isn't closure. It's a mirror. Cracking wider each glance. Jamal's text glowed. Team vote. You're in as partner. Trust earned.
Earned.
The word warmed. Fragile. But as sirens wailed distant, cities pulse, I knew. Peace was illusion. The controversy? My legacy? Debated in bars from Brooklyn to Boise, was Victoria Reyes redeemer or repeat offender? Only time and the next leak would tell. Winter locked the Adirondacks in ice. The lake of frozen scar under gunmetal skies, mirroring the chill settling in my bones. Partnership at Nova Forge should have been the thaw, equity stake, corner in their Williamsburg loft. A team that felt like family instead of sharks. But Ethan's bluff lingered like frostbite, numbing decisions. Every wire transfer from the artist fund pinged paranoia. Every late-night code review whispered obstruction. Lena advised therapy. PTSD's a bitch. Vic, but shrinks in flannel couldn't unpack the knot of complicity I'd tied myself into. Sarah's settlement cleared in January. $100,000 wired from my severance remnants, leaving me scraping for rent. Her public response? A tweet. Healing starts with accountability. Thank you. At Vic Reyes. Thank you. 2 words that should have lifted, but landed like lead, gratitude laced with the unspoken. Don't fuck up again. I didn't tweet back. Social media was a minefield now. My feed a battlefield of blue-check allies and anon trolls. Reyes, from C-suite to conscience? Or just PR pivot? Nova Forge's momentum built. Our app, EchoArt, scaling to 100K users. Features like lineage tracing, crediting original creators in real time. Press loved it. Fast Company's redemption tech. My face on the cover. Smile practiced, but eyes haunted. Interviews turned confessional. Me on stage at South by Southwest Proxy. Virtual from the cabin. Unpacking the box of sins. AI's not neutral. I told a sea of badges. It's us, flaws. Thefts. Triumphs. We code our shadows. Cheers. But Q&A twisted. A VC in the chat. How do we know you won't box us again? Doubts seated. Internally. 2. Jamal pulling me aside after sprint review. His office overlooking the Gowanus muck.
Beak.
The team's gold.
But.
That hail wire? Rumors. Rumors. Ethan's ghost. Stirring pots from his Alphabet City halfway house. Bond conditions chafing. Rico confirmed. Ethan pitching a tell-all podcast to Joe Rogan types. The fall of Apex. Betrayed by my protege. Protege. As if I hadn't been the latter, he kicked away. Counterpunch time. I greenlit Rico's deep dive. Eth's comms scraped. Revealing pitches to a ghostwriter for a book deal. Inside the witch hunt.
Which? Me.
But buried in the files, the real venom. A dossier on me. Compiled pre-arrest. Including forged emails proving I'd initiated Sarah's payoff. My greater good postscript photoshopped to do it quick, the
Forgery.
Ethan's final play. To flip the narrative in his appeal hearing. Rage reignited. Clean this time, no shadows. I leaked it to The Intercept. Anonymous as ever. Imprisoned CEO fakes evidence against accuser. Fallout swift. Eth's bond revoked. Back to cuffs. His book deal vaporized. Media frenzy. CNN panels debating text toxic exes. My name floated as the woman who wouldn't break. Wouldn't.
Couldn't.
More like. But the wind hollowed when Sarah called. Voice edged over the line.
Beak.
This forgery, did you know?
No, primelit.
Breath short. Swear.
Pause. Heavy.
Okay. But if it was? Trust's thread. Fraying. Spring bloomed messy. Cherry blossoms choking the cabin's path. Allergies mirroring my itch to bolt. NovaForge's board, loose collective of artists and devs, voted expansion, seed round from ethical VCs. My pitch decked the hook. From scary to sacred, I titled it, Slides Tracing the Box's Ashes to Echo's Fire. They bid $5M. Terms fair. No golden handcuffs. Signing night. Rooftop toast in Brooklyn. Skyline electric. Jamal clinking my glass. To not burning bridges. Bridges. The ones I'd torched.
Anyway.
But Ethan's appeal hearing crashed the party. Live-streamed glitch on my phone. Him in video link from lockup. Face gaunt. Spinning victim yarns. Reyes manipulated the narrative, he claimed. Voice cracking artful. She delayed Klein's report to leverage promotion.
Delay.
My sin. Amplified. The judge. A no-nonsense fed from Jersey. Adjourned for review. But damage done. NovaForge's investors waffling. Emails pinging. Clarify timeline?
Timeline.
I owned it in all hands. Loft packed. Air thick with tension. Yes. I delayed. I admitted. Standing on a milk crate for height. Heart slamming.
Fear.
Ambition. Whatever you call it, wrong. But I fixed it. Echoes my fix. Murmurs. Nods from Mia in the corner. Her mural on the wall watching. Vote. Stay the course. Relief flooded. Short-lived. Twist struck mid-pitch to a new funder, a queer-led VC in Chelsea. Rainbow flags fluttering. Their due diligence unearthed the wire from Eth's sister, flagged as suspicious transfer in FinCN logs. Not bribe, inheritance skim. Eth dipping into family trust pre-arrest. But my acceptance? Potential influence peddling, their lawyer emailed. Deal on ice. Influence. As if I'd bought his silence with blood money. Lena raged over Zoom. Background her West Village brownstone. Return it.
Beak. Now.
Returned $50K wired back. Anonymous note. No debts. But the VC bailed. Rumors rippling to others. NovaForge teetered. Layoffs looming. Jamal's faith tested. We adapt, he said, but eyes said doubt. I retreated to the city. Sublet crashing with Mia. Her studio a chaos of canvases and code.
Nights.
We collabed, her strokes digitized into echo prompts. Ethical alchemy. You're not villain, she said one dawn. Coffee steaming. East River glinting. Just human. Messy. Human. The word anchored. Until Rico's alert. Ethan's appeal granted partial. New trial on the forgery charge. Me summoned as witness.
Summoned.
Back to the stand. Spotlights hot. Ethan's gaze from the defense table like daggers. Testimony day. Federal courthouse in Foley Square. Air conditioned to indifference. MS. Reyes, his lawyer drawled. Southern drawl dripping honeyed venom. You admit delaying MS. Klein's complaint. Yes. For personal gain? Partially. Gasps, Sarah in the gallery. Face stone. And the wire for Mr. Hale's family? Quid pro quo.
No.
A misunderstanding. Cross-burned. My greater good email projected. Postscript glaring. Jurors shifted, eyes judging. I cracked. Not full. It was wrong. All of it. But Hale assaulted. He framed. I avenged. Avenged. Word hung. Controversial, heroic to some. Vigilante to others. Judge banged gavel, recess. Outside. Protesters clashed, free Hale signs versus justice for Sarah. Cops in riot gear herding the melee. Ethan cornered me in the hall. Marshals lax for a beat. Told you.
Vic.
We're the same.
Same.
The mirror again, reflecting his hollows in mine. No, I whispered. You're done. I'm starting. He smirked, fading as cuffs clicked. Trial dragged weeks. Me testifying thrice. Each grueling. Verdict, forgery upheld. But assault retried, mistrial on technicals. Eth walking on bond again. Walking. Fury boiled. But I channeled. Op-ed in NYT. Why tech needs whistleblowers. Flaws and all. Went viral. Doors reopening. VCs circling NovaForge anew. But the penalty's shadow loomed. That joint $750,000. Now fully mine post-appeal loss. Apex dissolved. Assets liquidated. My share due in 30 days. Broke. I crowdsourced GoFundMe Vic's Vengeance Fund. Ironic twist. Donors poured. Artists. Sarah, $500. Note. Pay forward. Even Mia's network. Raised $800,000. Excess to the fund. Summer solstice. Lake thawed. I swam. Cold shock cleansing. Ethan's retrial loomed fall.
But I?
Partner full. Echo scaling global. Controversy? Fuel now. Pod invites. Keynotes. The cost of comeback.
Cost.
High. But mine. Yet as fireflies danced. Phone buzzed. Anonymous text. Eth's number spoofed. Watch your back.
Beak.
The box isn't dead.
Box.
Code recirculating dark web? Or metaphor? Our shared monster. Undead. I deleted. But sleep evaded. Revenge's end? Not closure. But cycle. Endless debate. Was I avenger? Accomplice?
Or both?
America thrives on the gray. And I? Thriving in it. Fall foliage crowned the Adirondacks in fire. A blaze that mocked the ashes I'd sifted through. NovaForge stabilized. EchoArt at 500K users. Partnerships with MoMA for curated AI exhibits. My ethics framework, now industry gospel. Cited in congressional hearings on digital rights. Life normalized. If normal meant keynote circuits from Austin to DC. Dodging paparazzi at LaGuardia. And therapy sessions unpacking imposter syndrome with a shrink who quoted Audre Lorde. Your power's in the fracture, she said. Fracture. Fitting me. Pieced from betrayal's shards. Ethan's retrial hit in October. Manhattan courthouse, a zoo of satellite trucks and sandwich board zealots. I prepped with Lena. War room her office. Take out falafel wrappers littering timelines. Stick to facts, she coached.
No emotion.
Emotion. As if the man hadn't unraveled my world. Sarah testified first. Poised in a pantsuit. Voice laser. He took my agency. She gave it back, late. But real.
Late.
The qualifier that'd dog me forever. My turn. Stand creaking under heels. Jury a cross-section of America. Blue-collar dad from Staten Island. Tech kid from Flatbush. Retiree with Fox News bingo card. MS. Reyes. Prosecutor opened. Avuncular. Walk us through the cover-up.
Walk.
I did. Vegas blur. Ethan's tears. My signature sealing silence. I thought I protected the company, I said. Throat tight. Protected him. Mistake. Defense pounced. Protected your position. No, that bonus email. Handled discreetly for mutual benefit? Mutual. Lie twisted. But I countered his benefit. Always. Gallery murmured. Ethan. Across the aisle. Suit crisp. Eyes dead fish. Cross-exam dragged. Hours of yes and no. My delay dissected like autopsy. You profited from the assault's hush? Indirectly.
Gasps.
Sarah's flinch visible. Recess. I bolted to the John. Splashing water. Mirror reflecting a woman forged in fire, stronger.
Scarred.
Verdict came swift. Guilty on all. Assault. Obstruction.
Forgery.
Sentence. 8 years.
No parole.
As hammer fell, Ethan lunged shouts. Marshals piling, yelling. You ruined us.
Beak. Both. Both.
The jury forewoman. The tech kid. Caught my eye post-trial. Brave, she mouthed.
Brave.
Or broken.
Aftermath. Media me culpa. My app, EDS syndicated.
Book offers flooding. Unboxed, a tech reckoning. I shopped it to a indie press in Portland. Raw draft spilling 80K words of gut-wrench. Betrayals bite. Revenges recoil. The American hustle that chews dreamers and spits legends. Advance modest. But freedom, no ghostwriter. My voice unfiltered. Sarah and I met post-sentencing. Neutral ground. Diner in K-Town. Steam from faux bowls fogging windows. It's over, she said. Chopsticks poised. Over. For him.
Us.
Awkward pause. Then, coffee sometime?
No sweets. Coffee.
Olive branch. I took it. Tentative. Monthly meets evolving to allies. Her advocacy org folding echo into trauma art therapy apps. Nova Forge exploded. $20M Series A. HQ expansion to Bushwick. Misio again. Title bittersweet. Jamal stepped back. Your era. Vic. Era. Pressed toward the loft. Walls alive with Mia's murals. Coders demoing lineage traces. From scary to story, I quipped to Forbes.
Story.
Ours. Collective. Artists compensated via box reparations. $750,000 penalty fund seeding grants. But the twist. The debater's delight. Dropped Christmas Eve. Leak server logs from Apex's defunct cloud. Rico's holiday gift. Not just code. The Scary Box's final scrape included Sarah's private sketches. Therapy drawings she'd emailed HR post-assault. Digitized without consent. Who scraped?
Me.
That frantic night. Burying her file. I'd attach samples for context. Innocent then. Damning now. The box birthed horrors from her pain. My delay the seed. Panic hit call Sarah. Bury deeper?
I chose trousse.
Email draft trembling. Found this. My fault. Again.
Sent.
Her reply. Dawn. Knew it might be. Doesn't change the win. But hurts. Hurts. We talked. Raw. Her forgiving in layers. Me vowing restitution. Full access to Echo's code. Her designs core to a new healing mode. Public? I owned it in Oppressor. Nova Forge stage. Cameras rolling. Another layer peeled. I said, voice steady. I fed the monster her pain. Unforgivable, but fixable. Backlash swift. Trolls crowing. Vix the villain arc complete. Feminists divided, some growth, others gaslight. Pods debated hours. Redemption real. Or PR 2.0. Controversy peaked. Stock dipped 10%. But users surged. Empathy downloads. Stories shared. Mom visited New Year's. Cabins strung with lights. Tamales steaming. Proud.
Mia.
But tired.
Tired.
Bone deep. Retire, she teased. Retire. At 34?
Nah.
But shift, delegate COO to a rising dev. Me to advisory. Globetrotting for ethics summits. Ethan's appeal denied final. Him penning prison manifestos smuggled to Vice. Reyes? Catalyst. Not savior. We built Apex on edges. She pushed me over.
Catalyst.
Half right. I wrote back. Violina. Edges cut both. Heel. No reply. Spring 2026. Lake blooming. I proposed to Nova Forge. Open source echo full. No more boxes. Vote unanimous. Launch party.
Met rooftop, ironic echo Mia DJing.
Sarah unveiling a mural. Fractured box. Light spilling. Toasts. To the gray.
Gray.
Where heroes and heels blur.
Ending?
No bow, life's no sitcom. I thrive. Scarred. Board seat selective. Lovers wary. But purpose sharp. Revenge? Delivered. Debated. Digested. Twist's gift. No one's pure, me least. America argues on villain or vanguard.
Me?
Survivor. Scripting sequels. As fireworks cracked over the city, I whispered to the dark, your move.
Ghosts.
Silence answered.
For now.